March 2025, as Georgia's foreclosure protections vanish. March 27, 2020. CARES, August 26, 2021 CDC, and the ERA ending in the first quarter of 2024. Delinquency rockets to 3.1%. Clayton's filings reach 152 per 100,000. The situation is so dire that the governor's panic makes headlines, but numbers alone don't explain the chaos. What chain of failures forced an entire state onto the brink? And what warning signs did leaders ignore? On March 27, 2020, Congress enacted the CARES Act, freezing most federally backed foreclosures across the country. That protection held until June 30, 2021, when federal forbearance programs began winding down. In Georgia, no additional statewide order was issued to extend these safeguards, leaving many homeowners exposed once the federal clock ran out. The Centers for Disease Control's national moratorium, which had shielded renters and some homeowners since September 4, 2020, was struck down by the Supreme Court on August 26, 2021. As federal support faded, the Georgia Department of Community Affairs opened its emergency rental assistance portal on March 8, 2021, but by October 28, 2022, the portal closed to new applications, and statewide access to rental relief effectively ended, while administrative processing continued until September 30, 2025. No new aid reached struggling households after that October cutoff. Each of these dates marked another step away from pandemic-era safety nets, setting the stage for a surge in foreclosure filings as protections vanished. Clayton County stands out as the epicenter of Georgia's 2025 foreclosure surge. In May, filings reached 152 per 100,000 households, more than double the state's median. Fulton County followed with 98.4 per 100,000, while DeKalb posted 91.2 and Gwinnett registered 60.3. These numbers, drawn from Adams' June 2025 report, reveal a stark concentration of distress in Atlanta's core and its southern and eastern suburbs. County clerks and legal staff in these areas have faced a relentless stream of new cases, each filing a marker of a family at risk. Mortgage delinquency rates climbed from 2.35% in mid-2024 to 3.1% by the same time in 2025. Homes for sale piled up, with inventory swelling from 1.8 months to 2.7 months in just a year. These sharp local spikes foreshadowed a system bracing for overload as administrative backlogs and public anxiety mounted. By March 31, 2025, Georgia's Homeowner Assistance Fund had distributed just 41% of its federal allocation, leaving over half the relief dollars untouched as foreclosure filings accelerated. An audit released that July described the situation in blunt terms. Processing stalls between intake and case review contributed to avoidable delays and increased risk of foreclosure for eligible households. The backlog wasn't a hidden problem. Fulton County's clerk reported processing 187 foreclosure filings in a single day after the moratorium expired, with staff working overtime and tempers running high. Courtroom logs from August 29, 2021 captured the crush: lines of homeowners, attorneys arguing deadlines, and clerks racing to keep up. Administrative choke points multiplied as applications for aid piled up, often waiting weeks for review. While neighboring states moved more quickly, Georgia's system struggled with contract delays and vendor issues, leaving thousands of families stranded in limbo as the crisis deepened. Governor Brian Kemp addressed the state on June 12, 2025, as foreclosure filings reached their highest levels in years. In his official statement, Kemp declared, "Georgia families need answers now. We're deploying rapid response teams to the hardest-hit counties." Legal experts immediately flagged the urgency behind these words. That same week, Superior Court e-filing systems logged a flurry of new foreclosure cases, with a notable spike in digital submissions at 11:58 p.m., just minutes before the daily cutoff. This late-night surge, captured in court metadata, raised questions about the transparency and timing of homeowner notifications. Within days, Georgia's statutory process shifted. Lenders were now required to give at least 45 days notice before moving forward with a foreclosure, and public sale notices had to run for a minimum of 42 days. These changes, enacted under mounting pressure, reflected a scramble to slow the crisis and buy time for families still at risk. On July 30, 2020, Perseverance launched from Cape Canaveral, its journey timed with a world in lockdown and uncertainty. The rover touched down on Mars on February 18, 2021, transmitting telemetry that captured the imagination of millions. On December 25, 2021, the James Webb Space Telescope soared into orbit. Its first NIR-spec observation ID 779456, was recorded on December 28th. Artemis 1 lifted off on November 16, 2022, marking the first integrated flight of NASA's Space Launch System and Orion capsule. Each mission, with its precise launch date and mission ID, anchors a timeline of scientific milestones, echoing the measured cadence of policy and crisis back on Earth. Precise numbers shape both crisis and discovery. In Georgia's courtrooms, a missed deadline or a misfiled document can mean the loss of a home. At the same moment, NASA's TESS mission, launched April 18, 2018, relies on exact timing and data points to spot a distant planet's faint shadow. Whether tracking a foreclosure notice or a transit light curve, accuracy is the common thread. The same demand for certainty binds clerks sorting filings in Atlanta to scientists parsing signals from deep space. Each depends on a clock that never pauses and a measurement that can't be wrong. By March 31st, 2025, Georgia's Homeowner Assistance Fund had distributed just 41% of available aid, as documented in the state audit. The end of federal protections, like the CARES Act on March 27, 2020, and the CDC moratorium on August 26, 2021, set off a measurable rise in foreclosures, with counties such as Clayton reaching 152 filings per 100,000 residents. By May 2025, Governor Kemp's emergency statement on June 12, 2025, and the shift to a 45-day legal notice period marked a decisive, documented attempt to slow the crisis. Yet the full impact of these policy changes and the fate of thousands of families remains uncertain, with many case files still pending review. Against the precision of NASA missions like Perseverance and the James Webb Space Telescope, Georgia's struggle shows the cost. When critical data and systems lag behind urgent reality, what is clear: when protections are withdrawn faster than solutions arrive, communities bear the consequences.